If you always feel behind, I can almost guarantee you that you either have too much on your plate, you are downplaying your own needs, or you have expectations of yourself that are at like superhuman level. For me, for nearly all my life, it was all three. And life did feel like a pit that I could not claw myself out of. I worked so hard and I seemed to get nowhere. And I want to talk about that today because I completely changed the way I feel and the way I function in the world by creating adaptive cleaning. And yes, it's cleaning. It is just a small fraction of my life, but it was just like an epiphany, a way of doing things where it wasn't like all pressure and hurry and feeling terrible all the time. It was acceptance and respecting myself. And it turns out that if you are kind to yourself and you have a way of doing things that is actually realistic, you will get more done than if you just put terrible pressure on yourself all the time. So that's what we're going to talk about today. I'm going to show you guys how to make a low capacity cleaning list for when you are depressed or exhausted, or your schedule is too full, or you're having an autoimmune flare, you're just eaten up with anxiety, you know, whatever it is that's just, you're just barely functioning at this point. There is a way to keep your home moving. And so we're going to talk about that today. The whole concept of adaptive cleaning is basically that none of us have the same amount of time, energy, bandwidth every single day. We're just not really built to be like that. We've been sold this idea that we're supposed to, no matter how we're feeling, just push ahead and get everything that we're supposed to get done. Like, this is very hustle culture. It's very American dream. It's very women can do everything all the time vibe. And it is destructive. Because of the way social media is, you can look around and really truly believe that everyone around you is able to keep up all the time. But that's not true, because we don't ever give ourselves a break. And the people who are keeping up all the time are the people who have a tremendous amount of resources and support that you and I, or just physicality, like I've never dealt with depression, or my body has never felt bad a day in its life. I sleep like a dream. That's not the norm. Most of us are very much fluctuating in how we feel. And if you expect yourself to continue doing everything at all times, you will eventually end up with a home that's completely chaotic. At least that was my experience, because I'd have days when I felt pretty good, like I could get a lot done, and I would tend to overdo it because I would know that the bad days were coming, and I would just kind of hasten those bad days because I'd completely exhaust myself. And it was just like a bad cycle that happened all the time. If you know what that feels like, the best thing that I did to start with was I stopped having a plan for my life that was for my ideal self. You know, like you do to-do lists and you have expectations of yourself that only exist for the you that could show up at 100% all the time. That is a hard burden to carry, and it is one that you can only carry for so long. Again, without like all of the support and tools that very few of us have. What can happen is you end up getting so beaten down by not ever being able to catch up, working hard, feeling like a mental struggle and a physical struggle to do all the things, and you just are always behind, and it just makes you want to do nothing, because what's the point? I began to think, what would happen if I didn't bully myself, if I didn't have these expectations that I had to be everything to all people all the time and just kill it. What would happen is magic. I actually started to get stuff done because I was being realistic. So that's how low capacity starts. I'm going to show you how I made my list. I have like digital planners and I have printables in my shop that you can have to do this. It's like has a lot of examples and different things to help you along your journey. But I also, some people don't have the finances to buy anything to help them. And some people, that's not what they're going to spend their money on right now. And I still think everyone should have access to the system and how it works, because it is transformative. After we do the low capacity list today and the next couple of weeks, I'll have an average and high capacity tutorial for you as well, because the thing is, you might not imagine that you could ever be at like anything more than like barely scraping by, but that's not true. You are going to set reasonable goals for yourself, and it is going to do for you what it did for me. I am someone who, I cannot really explain how much I was struggling and have been for like all of my life. But what happens is you begin to have confidence in yourself if you're setting goals that you can actually do, that you can check off. You start to feel capable, and with that comes access to more energy or more capacity. So anyway, average and high capacity to come. And as a reminder, low capacity is simply when your resources are limited. Those resources might be time, they might be mental or physical resources, energy, etc. So that's what that actually means, low capacity. I'm showing you how I did this before there was even a system. I just wanted to do only the absolute most priority things that I knew I could do every single day. That is the absolute key to your low capacity list, is what can you do every single day, no matter how bad you're doing. That's going to be the basis for your low capacity list. So that might be for you just like self-care things. You might not have like different responsibilities like children, for instance. Like it might just be you and getting to work. So for you, a low capacity list might look like brushing your teeth, making sure you have clean clothes on, getting yourself fed, whatever the case may be. You know what that is for you. If you can add things like, gather the trash from your side table or throw dirty clothes in the hamper, that's great. If you can't, that's fine. But whenever you feel like you're doing everything on this list, and make sure you check it off or write a line through it, unless that's not your thing, but it is so satisfying. Once you feel like you're really consistently doing this, maybe that's like a couple of days, a couple of weeks, whatever feels good to you, or you feel confident, then you're going to add a couple more things to this list. That's like the second stage. That was the second stage for me. At this point, I was not worried about heavy cleaning at all. Like, I have a lot of kids, and I had one non-negotiable for cleaning, which was the kitchen. And I wish I would have known or given myself permission then, like I do now, which is, if you're at really low capacity, you having disposable plates and really making things as easy for yourself as possible is key, because you don't want the stress of cleaning the kitchen to be so great that you don't even want to make yourself something to eat. Like that's not cool. So the second level is just going to be things like, dealing with the trash and making sure to kind of gather the trash from around the house and get that taken outside. It's going to be getting all the dishes into the kitchen, and so that you can start a load in the dishwasher or unload it, and getting like a priority load of laundry washed and dried. It does not have to be folded or hung up. You can have a clean laundry hamper where it just lives. That is fine. But once you're able to do self-care stuff, and you're able to do a couple of these basics around the house, and again, like a couple of days, a couple of weeks, you feel comfortable and confident that you can do this no matter what, then a third level might be things like vacuuming just as quick as you can in like the main areas that you're living in. But you're going to just add a couple more things that feel reasonable to you. And I would add in a weekly element to this, just things that you don't have to do daily, obviously by the name. It might be taking a disinfectant cloth and putting everything on the bathroom counter to the side, just like quickly wiping the counters and the handles so that it feels like less grungy to you. I use like the little disposable toilet wand things, so you can just like give that a quick scrub and be done with it. So like I work on my bathroom every Thursday. Obviously, people need to order groceries or figure out what they're going to do about food. So that might be another day. I have plants that are alive because on Mondays I water my plants. You don't have to add a lot of things to your weekly list. Obviously, I've got like an example here to show you how I had that, but that's where that's how that weekly element adds in. And if you really want to, you can do a teeny tiny little bit of deep cleaning. Now, deep cleaning is not important to the function of your home. So that's why I'm kind of hesitant to say that, because that's definitely more like an average or high capacity function. However, the way I do deep cleaning is I call it sprint cleaning because it is very short amounts of time done very quickly, and I am not looking for a perfect job, because if I am trying to do a perfect job, I can absolutely get so hung up in the details that I will spend all of my time and energy hyperfixating on a deep cleaning task. So in my sprint cleaning at low capacity, I have like in my cleaning lists, I have like very detailed deep cleaning tasks that you can do. I consider low capacity like 5-minute tasks, and then average maybe like 15, and then high capacity you can do something for like, tackle like a 45-minute task if you so choose. But an example of what you could do for sprint cleaning that is very accessible is like, think about the oven. Cleaning the oven is so intimidating. That's definitely a high capacity situation, but you know what you can do? You could pull all the knobs off of the temperature gauge thingy, and you could clean them, and you could wipe off that panel and put them back. You could wipe off or, give a little bit of a scrub to your stovetop. You could get some, so sorry to change that out. My big camera decided it was hot, so it just shut off. Okay, sorry. But you could wipe off the surface of your oven. Just spray it with Windex and wipe it down. Those are tiny things that will make a difference in your home, and your eyes will lock onto that as you come into that room, and it will make you feel good, and it will make you feel accomplished. And so anyway, that's how you could implement a little bit of deep cleaning into your low capacity list if you want. Definitely the key is to not pressure yourself. The key is to do things that you feel respect your time, energy, mental and physical needs, and to let the rest go. Because the deal is, if you have realistic expectations for yourself, you can keep up. And when you can keep up, you can make lasting, permanent change. So that's what we're going for here. My home is drastically different than it was before I created this system. I feel comfortable in my home. I don't feel like it is out to get me. I don't feel like it is swallowing me. I do have a lot of little kids, and I work a lot, and I hate cleaning. So is my home impeccable? Absolutely not. Like I show my home all the time. You guys know that it's very lived in, but it functions. We have clean laundry. There are clean dishes. Things aren't getting lost all the time. It is just a much, much more peaceful environment. So that's pretty much it with what I wanted to say about the low capacity list. I also have a blog post that goes along with it, and I know I showed a lot of the way I list things out in this video, but if you want a closer look at it, it's easier probably to look at it on the blog. So that's there. And then probably next week we'll do an average capacity and then a high capacity list, and you just stick with whatever makes you feel good until you feel like, oh, this is a breeze, I can move on to the next thing. So I hope it helps. If you have questions, please let me know. You can comment them. If you would like me to spend time with you, helping you to um, figure out how to plan your systems. That is a service that I do offer. It's on my website, but I'll have links to, I have a free resource called Chaos Cleaning. If you're like in a situation where things are really crazy, and you just need like direction to get back on top of that, I have that as a free resource. So I'll leave some links in the description, but please do let me know if you have questions. I will try to clarify whatever I can. And thank you for being here. Hopefully this is okay. It's like 11:34 at night and my brain has turned off quite some time ago. But thank you for hanging with me if you're still here. And I will see you the next time. Bye.
Yesterday, there was sun and there was rain.